Charles Darwin. The name conjures up images of the Galapagos Islands, finches with unique beaks, and the groundbreaking theory of evolution by natural selection. Darwin's voyage on the HMS Beagle is often romanticized, a tale of scientific discovery and groundbreaking insights into the natural world. Yet, this narrative often overlooks a darker, more complex truth. Darwin's journey, while revolutionary in our understanding of life's diversity, unfolded against the backdrop of a far less noble endeavor, colonialism. The Beagle's voyage was never solely about scientific exploration, it was also about expanding the reach of the British Empire. This journey of discovery was intertwined with the exploitation of resources and the subjugation of entire populations. Understanding this darker side of Darwin's voyage is crucial. It allows us to grapple with the complexities of scientific progress in the context of historical injustices. We must examine the ethical dimensions of exploration and discovery, recognizing that even the most celebrated figures are products of their time. Only then can we fully appreciate the multifaceted legacy of Darwin's journey and its impact on our world today. It is a legacy that continues to shape our understanding of the natural world and our place within it. The HMS Beagle, a Cherokee-class 10-gun brig sloop of the Royal Navy, embarked on a mission in 1831 that would forever alter our understanding of life on Earth. However, the ship's primary objective was not scientific exploration. The British Admiralty tasked the Beagle with a mission of imperial expansion. The primary task was surveying South American coastlines. These detailed maps would facilitate trade and strengthen Britain's military presence in the region. The Beagle's crew was also ordered to gather information on natural resources, potential harbours, and indigenous populations. This information was crucial for the expanding British Empire. It allowed them to exploit the resources of newly claimed territories and solidify their dominance on the world stage. The presence of a young naturalist like Darwin was a secondary concern for the Admiralty. However, Darwin's presence would prove to be far more significant than anyone could have imagined. His observations and collections during the voyage would form the foundation of his groundbreaking theories. However, we must remember that these discoveries were made in the shadow of empire. The Beagle's voyage was a testament to the insatiable appetite of European powers for expansion and control. It serves as a stark reminder that scientific progress often went hand in hand with the subjugation and exploitation of others. During his travels, Darwin encountered numerous indigenous groups, but none left a more profound mark on his thinking than the Fuegians of Tierra del Fuego, located at the southernmost tip of South America. These people, living in one of the harshest environments on Earth, were perceived by Darwin and his European contemporaries as primitive and savage. Their way of life, starkly different from Victorian England, shocked Darwin. He described them as nomadic hunter-gatherers with limited technology and a simple social structure. Darwin documented their customs, languages, and physical characteristics, often contrasting them with what he considered civilized society. These encounters, while shaping Darwin's understanding of human diversity, were also colored by the prejudices of his time. He viewed the Fuegians through a lens of European superiority, seeing them as less evolved on the scale of human progress. These encounters, though problematic in their biases, played a crucial role in shaping Darwin's understanding of human evolution. They fueled his belief in a hierarchical view of human societies, with Europeans at the pinnacle of progress. His descriptions of the Fuegians, while valuable for anthropological study, also contributed to the dehumanization of indigenous populations. These depictions were later used to justify colonialism and the exploitation of native peoples worldwide. Darwin's groundbreaking work on the origin of species revolutionized our understanding of the natural world. However, within its pages lay the seeds of a darker interpretation that would have far-reaching consequences. While Darwin himself did not explicitly advocate for social hierarchies based on race, His writings contained language and concepts that were readily appropriated by proponents of scientific racism. Darwin's theory of natural selection, with its emphasis on the survival of the fittest, was twisted to fit pre-existing prejudices. Social Darwinists, as they came to be known, used Darwin's work to argue that certain races were inherently superior to others. They claimed that European societies, with their technological advancements and imperial dominance, were evidence of their advanced evolutionary state. This dangerous distortion of Darwin's ideas had a profound impact on social and political thought. It provided a scientific veneer for existing racist beliefs, legitimizing colonialism, slavery, and other forms of oppression. The concept of a racial hierarchy, supposedly supported by Darwinian principles, permeated scientific discourse and popular culture. It fueled discriminatory policies, justified eugenics movements, and contributed to the horrors of the Holocaust. The misinterpretations of Darwin's work had a devastating impact on countless lives. Social Darwinism, fueled by a toxic blend of pseudoscience and racial prejudice, took root in the minds of powerful individuals and institutions, shaping policies and justifying atrocities. Colonial powers used social Darwinist arguments to legitimize their exploitation of colonized peoples. They argued that it was their natural right to rule over those deemed inferior. This ideology fueled forced labor, land dispossession, and cultural destruction on a massive scale. The eugenics movement, gaining traction in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, also drew inspiration from distorted interpretations of Darwin's work. Proponents of eugenics believed that they could improve the human species through selective breeding, often targeting marginalized communities and individuals with disabilities. These policies, rooted in the false premise of racial hierarchy, resulted in forced sterilization, segregation, and other human rights abuses. The Holocaust, the ultimate expression of racial hatred, stands as a stark reminder of the horrors that can unfold when pseudoscientific theories are used to justify discrimination and violence. Section 6. Exploitation in the name of science, the environmental cost. Darwin's voyage on the Beagle, while contributing significantly to our understanding of the natural world, also played a role in the environmental exploitation that accompanied colonial expansion. The information gathered during the expedition, particularly regarding natural resources, paved the way for large-scale exploitation. The mapping of South American coastlines, a key objective of the Beagle's mission, facilitated the expansion of trade routes and the extraction of valuable resources. Timber, rubber, minerals, and other commodities were shipped back to Europe, fueling industrial growth while depleting the natural wealth of colonized regions. The introduction of foreign species, both intentional and accidental, also had a devastating impact on fragile ecosystems. Plants and animals brought from Europe often outcompeted native species, disrupting ecological balances that had existed for millennia. The pursuit of scientific knowledge, while crucial for our understanding of the planet, often came at a high cost to the environment. Darwin's voyage, conducted in an era of unchecked exploitation, serves as a reminder that scientific progress must be balanced with a deep respect for the delicate web of life on Earth. Section 7. The enduring shadow of empire, colonialism's bitter harvest. The colonial enterprise, which provided the context for Darwin's voyage and subsequent scientific contributions, cast a long shadow over the globe. The legacy of this era continues to shape the world today, with its impacts felt in the ongoing struggles for equality, justice, and environmental sustainability. The economic disparities between former colonial powers and their former colonies persist. The extraction of resources and exploitation of labor during the colonial era created systems of dependency that continue to hinder development in many parts of the world. Political instability, often rooted in the arbitrary borders drawn during the colonial era, continues to fuel conflict and unrest. The legacy of divide and rule tactics employed by colonial powers to maintain control can still be seen in ethnic tensions and political divisions in many former colonies. The cultural heritage of colonized societies was also deeply impacted by colonial rule. Languages, traditions, and belief systems were suppressed and undermined, leading to a loss of identity and cultural continuity for many communities. Section 8. Judging History, Learning from the Past, a Balanced Perspective. As we grapple with the complex legacy of Charles Darwin and his contributions to science, it is essential to approach history with nuance and a critical eye. We must avoid the pitfalls of presentism, judging historical figures solely by contemporary standards. Darwin, like all individuals, was a product of his time. His views on race and social hierarchy, while abhorrent by today's standards, were not uncommon during the Victorian era. However, this does not excuse them or diminish their harmful impact. Instead of simply condemning Darwin for his biases, we should strive to understand the historical context that shaped his worldview. We must recognize that scientific progress does not occur in a vacuum but is deeply intertwined with the social, political, and cultural forces of the time. By acknowledging the complexities of history, we can engage in a more nuanced and productive dialogue about the relationship between science, society, and the legacy of colonialism. We can learn from the mistakes of the past, recognizing the dangers of unchecked bias and the importance of ethical considerations in scientific inquiry. Section 9. Darwin's Complex Legacy, a Catalyst for Change. Charles Darwin's voyage on the HMS Beagle, while forever linked to the darker chapters of colonialism, remains a pivotal moment in the history of science. His groundbreaking theories revolutionized our understanding of life on Earth, sparking a scientific revolution that continues to shape our world today. However, this legacy is not without its shadows. The misinterpretations and abuses of Darwin's ideas, particularly in the form of social Darwinism, serve as a stark reminder of the potential for science to be twisted to serve dangerous ideologies. As we move forward, it is our responsibility to learn from the complexities of Darwin's legacy. We must acknowledge the harmful consequences of scientific racism and the enduring impact of colonialism. We must ensure that scientific progress is guided by ethical principles and a commitment to social justice. Darwin's work, despite its flaws and the ways in which it was misused, continues to inspire new generations of scientists. By confronting the darker aspects of his legacy, we can strive to create a future where scientific knowledge is used to promote understanding, equality, and the well-being of all life on Earth.